Hey folks, this is Pikohan from Nonsense Wars, and today we're going to look at this Wacom 1 tablet. Now, this is the 2023 edition with the part number DTC121. The design of the tablet is pretty inoffensive. You got a screen, you got some rounded corners, and you got a pen holder. On the back, the plastic is kind of textured, and you got 4 big feet, which hopefully won't come off. On top with the pen, you get the power button, an on-screen display button, and 2 Type-C ports. So this is a refurb unit, and I already unboxed it. But as far as accessories go, you got some, documentation. You got the pen, of course. You got some extra pen tips and the puller. There's 2 Type-C cables and the power adapter, which we will not be using. I wanted to play with this because I'm still looking for a good mobile drawing solution that isn't an iPad. Normally, I have this old Cintiq, and I actually really like the drawing performance of the Cintiq. The problem is this stupid cable. Not only does this cable feel super fragile on the tablet side, the other side breaks into 3 cables. You got your HDMI, you got your USB, but the worst part is that the third end is a power adapter, so it's very impractical to take this anywhere. For a long time, I used convertible tablets like this L390 Yoga, but I feel that the digitizer quality on these has been going downhill. I even tried this Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, but it has its own problems, perhaps for a different video. The killer feature of the Wacom 1 to me is that even though it nominally needs 1 cable for data and 1 cable for power, if you have a computer that supports Thunderbolt, which the old ThinkPad definitely does, not only does the Wacom 1 not need a power brick, but you can get away with a 1 cable connection. That being said, the Wacom 1 is not a Cintiq, so how's the drawing performance? This is, of course, very subjective, and I'm not a professional, but my first impression was that the pen and screen had less friction than on the Cintiq, and I did feel like I noticed the nominally fewer levels of pressure sensitivity. More objectively, I think the edge tracking performance is worse on the Cintiq, and I think the colors are a little less washed out on the Wacom 1, but perhaps that could be fixed with calibration. That said, the real test is, of course, to draw something. And while I didn't record this because the laptop won't be happy running Krita and OBS, we can at least look at the result. So here are some similar drawings of the same character. These hatched drawings on the left here were done on the Wacom 1 as practice. This middle figure was also done on the Wacom 1. And the one on the right here was done on the HD13, which is the old Cintiq. Despite what I said earlier, the line quality between the 2 tablets isn't really that different. Perhaps my curves are a little bit smoother on the Cintiq, but it's not that big of a difference. If we turn on the color layers, I think I can blend a little bit better with the airbrush on the Cintiq, but again, the difference isn't actually that big. Let's talk about pens for a little bit. So this is the pen from the Cintiq, and it's my favorite pen. It's got a really nice chonky grip that lets you put a lot of pressure into it, and it's got very distinct buttons that are very hard to press. You also got a built-in eraser. The ThinkPad pen is pretty much the opposite. It's super tiny, the buttons are very indistinct and easy to mispress, and there's no eraser. It also needs a battery. The Dell pen is a little bit better. It's a little bit thicker, but the buttons are still kind of indistinct and easy to press. It's got a button on the back, but it's not really good as an eraser. And it also needs a battery, but at least it's a quadruple A. Finally, the Wacom 1 pen is again a bit better. It's got the same diameter, but the buttons are much more distinct, and the click is a bit harder, so it's harder to mispress them. You don't have an eraser, but it also doesn't need a battery. So overall, I need to play with it more, but I also think it's not bad. The question is if it's good enough for me to replace my Cintiq such that I can have the same drawing experience both at home and elsewhere. What I would really like is for them to make a small single cable Cintiq, but last I checked, they don't have that yet.